Welcome to the WrestleTalk news. I am Luke Owen, and yeah, apologies for the slightly different, bizarre setup that we've got here. I'm at home, I'm not in the studio. Apologies for the light looks a little bit weird and everything like that, but we do have to talk about what's just happened. There's been a bit of breaking news here in the wrestling news cycle. One half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Cash Wheeler of FTR, has been arrested. Leave a little pregnant pause there for everyone to collectively gasp together. But yeah, one half of the tag champs in All Elite Wrestling has been arrested, as if it couldn't be a more wacky week for AEW news. What with the CM Punk stuff of people being blocked from going into Collision, and then there were reports of a big argument that he'd had with Jungle Boy Jack Perry from a previous episode of Collision. The reports of Tony Khan chanting CM Punk when he made his return. All In matches getting announced this week. It has been a full-on week for AEW, and it's been capped off here by the news that, and I will just read this again, Cash Wheeler, whose real name is Daniel Wheeler, was charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. The arrest took place this morning, Friday the 18th of August, with AEW issuing the following statement. AEW has been made aware of the charge, and we are closely monitoring the situation. He is fully cooperating with local authorities. He, of course, being Cash Wheeler. He is currently incarcerated in Florida. So yeah, Cash Wheeler's been arrested. 1 week out from flying to the UK to do All In, of which, he and Dax are defending the World Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks, a show that's already been plagued with many issues because of Bryan Danielson's injury and Pac's injury and Jamie Hayter's injury. And does this mean that Cash is going to be off All In? Well, Sean Ross Sapp has got a little bit of extra detail on this, not around the All In stuff. But he was the one who got the same press statement that I imagine a lot of people have, which is AEW has been made aware of the charge and we're closely monitoring the situation. He's cooperating with local authorities. Sean Ross Sapp adds, Wheeler was arrested early Friday by the Orlando Police Department and was booked in circuit court according to county records. The Orlando Sentinel ran a report on the arrest this morning. The offence date was listed as July 27th and an affidavit of issue warrant was on July 28th. He points out that it has been highlighted by Kylie Fuller of Fightful Overbooked. The incident happened on July 27th. Arrest warrant was issued on the 28th. He waived arrangement. His lawyers appeared in his place, requesting info from the prosecution for discovery, and pled not guilty on August 4th. His first appearance today at 1 p.m. So yeah, that's from Kylie Wrestling pointing that out there. Sorry, Kylie Wrestling, that's a Twitter name. Kylie Fuller of Fightful Overbooks. So now this is a funny little bit of detail because the wrestling world is wacky. This next bit of information comes from Simpsons Wrestling Memes. I've just left another little pregnant pause there for you to have a little chuckle at the absurdity of that, but it genuinely is. This is true. Simpsons Wrestling Memes here tweets, without giving too much away about my job, he can still be admitted to the UK. It depends on his bail terms. Plus, he hasn't been convicted of anything yet, only charged. A felony conviction will exclude him from entry to the UK. So in layman's terms there, if he gets charged from what will happen today, is going to depend on his status for All In, and probably for Collision tomorrow, for Dynamite, for any Ramage, because it's a double Dynamite and Collision taping next week. I'd imagine he won't be able to not do those either. They'd have to make some form of announcements. They hold up the tag belts. There's a lot of questions that are coming out after this, which means it's time for a cheeky plug to WrestleTalk.com, because they'll have all of the latest updates on this story as it comes in. But yeah, there you go. AEW's Cash Wheeler has been arrested. I'm just going to open up the Orlando Sentinel, and this content is not available in your region. Surfshark VPN. I've only got it installed in this laptop. I've got it installed downstairs on my PlayStation. Done. But anyway, yeah. So that's the news, everyone. Cash Wheeler has been arrested. As it currently stands, there's no update on whether or not he'll be able to do All In. I'm just going to have a quick check around, see if Sean's got anything else that he can add to this story. Or in fact, actually, if maybe because we mentioned Kylie Fuller's tweet. So she writes here, my daughter of a lawyer training pays off. So, I mean, everyone go and follow Kylie Wrestling, by the way, because this is great. So he pled not guilty on the 3rd of August. I'm double checking that. Americans do their dates weird. So this actually, I keep forgetting that it's like mid-August and like next week is almost the end of August, because I was just thinking like, oh, this all happened a couple of weeks ago. No, this happened like, nearly a month ago in some cases here, so it's only just come out. But man, this is craziness. So what happens if you can't do All In? Man, if you can't do All In, that because I would say, I mean, there's been a lot of criticisms against All In over the last week. There's been the discourse, as we've sort of like labeled it on the WrestleTalk podcast, that's talked about, the criticisms, a lot of which are very valid, some of which I think is just people having a little whinge, but some of them are very, very valid about the build to All In. While the storylines have been built, I would argue that BCC's feud with Best Friends and Lucha Bros has been built on TV. They have been telling a story there. You can argue whether it's good or not, but that they have been doing a story there. And MJF and Cole is undoubtedly the biggest world title match they could do at this moment. It's the hottest storyline that they've got going at the moment. But there have been some legit criticisms against the card and some of the build for said card. But the two big matches that this show was really hanging its hat on was that Cole MJF world title match and the trilogy, the final chapter in the trilogy of the Young Bucks versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. A match that has been kind of a year or so in the making. There were thoughts that it was going to happen last year after the Bucks won the world titles, the tag titles, and FTR were having on their run where they were the Ring of Honor tag champions, the AAA tag champions, and the New Japan tag champions, and they're going to add the AEW World titles to their ranks. But that storyline never happened. The match never happened. The Bucks lost the belts. They lost them to Swerve and Our Glory, and then of course there was all of the drama with Brawl Out, and they were then missing for a while, and then they went into the trios division. But they're now finally in a position where they can do that match. The Young Bucks have said, we're going back into the tag division and we're challenging FTR for the world tag titles. If they don't have that match, that means that the All In card is kind of hinging on one. It goes from being a 2-match card to a 1-match card and some fun stuff underneath. I don't think that's going to do a lot for the naysayers against All In. Granted, a lot of this is out of this one's completely out of AEW's control, as was the injuries to Danielson, Hayter, and Pac, like I mentioned earlier. But man, stay tuned to WrestleTalk.com because they will have the latest updates on this. Just before I get out of here, I'm just going to quickly check, just in case anyone else has added anything. And while I'm doing that, also just going to be apologizing for the state of this background. I'm sure no one is commenting on this. Sean's not said anything. Let's see if Dave has said anything. No, Dave's quiet. Dave's probably either Dave is writing the newsletter or constantly tweeting about the newsletter, or he's doing something else. But anyway, there's the story as it currently stands. And as I know, I have to giggle when I say this again, Simpsons Wrestling Memes points out that he can still come to the UK depending on his bail terms. He's not been convicted or anything yet, only charged. But if a felony conviction comes from this, it will exclude him entry to the UK. WrestleTalk.com / no, I mean / will still get you there. WrestleTalk.com. That will give you all of the latest updates on this one. But man, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this. Let me comment down below. Let me know what you think of this mad story. Cash Wheeler's been arrested. What does this mean for All In? I've been Luke Owen. That's been Wrestling News. What a weird week.